that couples need the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties, especially those associated with finances. Being resourceful is a valuable asset in marriage, also in relationships, but at times it doesn't come so easy as it takes a lot of commitment, determination, patience, courage, and creativity. As a husband or wife, you must be ready to give thoughts to opportunities and prospects that will enhance your marriage, especially in the area of managing your finances so that you can support one another in running and managing the home. Gone are the days when women are full housewives, and waited on men to shoulder all the financial responsibilities in the home without receiving any support. These days, especially with the economic realities, one would expect no man to stay idle without bringing anything to the table.
So, so some people will point that even though the husband is the head of the family and should provide and cater for the family's welfare and also prioritize, should not be so responsible, but should be given a helping hand by the wife, as she is supposed to be not only a soulmate but also a helpmate to the man. Although this does not mean that such financial support should be taken for granted and not expected to be like some men expect. While there are some women who believe that men at times feel too relaxed or complacent the moment their spouses begin to support them in running the finances in the home front and begin to engage in frivolities. Men, is this true? As a man, that is a rhetorical question for me this morning. Well, we will find out on the program this lovely morning. But whenever the situation, experts have revealed that the minds of couples should be a blueprint for innovative ideas.
Especially as a woman who are the homemakers and believed to be very good in the management of resources. You must reprogram your mind and think outside the box, thereby creating opportunities for wealth creation and financial independence in your home, which will be very useful for the family and make you feel more at ease, thereby lessening your anxieties over making ends meet. So today on the program, we'll be getting answers to how can couples find innovative ways to solve challenges, especially those relating to finances in a home. Do couples need to build strong connections with each other to be resourceful in their home? And how important is resourcefulness in marriage? Who should be more resourceful in marriage or relationship, the man or the woman? These and many more issues we'll be discussing on today's edition of Morning Flight.
Most definitely. Most definitely, and we have our guest in the studios this lovely morning, a marriage counselor, Mrs. Grace Olubumi Okunlola. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you sincerely for joining us this morning. Now, to start with, there is this notion that couples need to build strong connections and relationships with each other first to be resourceful in their union. What is your view on this?
Thank you. In marriage, couples really need to build a very strong relationship in order to be resourceful so that both of them enjoy such. At the beginning of marriage, there's need for unity. Both the husband and the wife must be united. As an individual, they must be united in the spirit and physically. What I mean is, they must have the same purpose for the home they are establishing. So if the two of them have the same mind and they both believe that God will help them as regards the home, I'm very sure they will work together. They will be resourceful so that the children will not suffer. So there's need for unity in marriage in order to bring resourcefulness to them.
To the home.
Now, with today's digital age, coupled with tight work schedules, amongst other challenges, how can couples work towards building a strong relationship and connection?
Well, everybody is always busy here and there, but nonetheless, as couples, we must create time out of a tight schedule And I believe if the husband is so busy, the wife must have time, particularly for the children. And if the wife is so busy, more busy than the husband, both of them should try to create time to see that the home progresses. Because if everybody is complaining and busy, and there's no time, no time for discussion, no time to relate with the children, even as couple, if there's no time to relate together, things will not go well at home. So we must create time as couples. We must create time, no matter how little it will be.
Well, sometimes about creating time you just mentioned will take me to a metropolis very close to us in Abeokuta here. That you even wake up when you're going to your work and you're targeting 8 o'clock, you must be on your way around past 4. Very early in the morning, and the kids will also need attention as well. Who should sacrifice the most between the husband and the wife in taking care of the kids this time around? Going to the fact that the wife must also set out very early in the morning and the husband on the other side.
Well, the wife must always sacrifice her time
Hmm.
to take proper care of their kids. There's what we call motherly care. There are stages of those kids when they will need the mother's attention. If a wife doesn't give such attention to the kids, their lives are in danger.
So, how important is this motherly care to kids growing up in a family?
It is very much important because the kids need to learn certain things from the mother at each stage. For instance, the kids must be trained right from the beginning on how to relate with elders, how to even relate with their parents, how to relate with their peers in school, outside the home. They must be well trained about certain things at home, house chores. Even as kids, we must train them how to make use of the restroom and some other things. So if the mother doesn't have time to train them at that time, when they grow up, they are in danger.
Now, you were talking about a woman sacrificing, like he mentioned, like early in the morning, the woman should sacrifice. Now, if a certain family knows that, all right, the woman has to get out very early in the morning, and the man still has some time, maybe he can leave home like 7:30, or the man also sacrifice.
He can and he should. The man should also sacrifice. The wife should get out early in the morning and the husband still has time to stay with the kids. There's nothing bad in the husband sacrificing his own time to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
Okay, now talking about thinking outside the box in terms of creativity and resourcefulness. Who should be more innovative and resourceful in the family? Is it the husband or the wife, and why?
Well, I think the wife should.
Hmm.
The wife should.
The more innovative and resourceful in the marriage.
Yes. Although both the man and the woman should do that. But the way I look at it is the wife should. The reason being that, you know, men are full of so many activities. If the wife just sits down and waits for the husband to do everything, things will not go well at home. So the wife should be more creative, that she should be able to even encourage the husband. They should have good time to discuss together. At times, husbands may not remember certain things. If the wife doesn't discuss with the husband, she may be thinking, well, he knows what to do, but he's not ready to do it. But let the wife speak out to know the mind of the husband. At times, when women discuss with the husband will say, I don't think like that. I've never thought of such. So let the woman be more creative so that the home will move on.
Are there benefits of being resourceful in a relationship or marriage?
Yes, there are lots of benefits of being resourceful in a relationship. Being resourceful will help to manage time. It helps the couple to manage the time. As a wife, you know, a wife is a civil servant. At the same time, she has one business or the other. You know, at a particular time, you get to work, you are returning home at another time. As long as you return home, you plan what to do. So being resourceful will help in managing our time and finances more effectively. At the same time, being resourceful helps in solving problems and it helps to overcome challenges. It helps in overcoming challenges. Also, being resourceful will be able to achieve goals and pursue passions.
Okay, now let us also look at this together. Is it really safe for couples who are not yet married to own a business together? You understand? Maybe they're still in a relationship. Let us not say they are couples this time around because once they are yet to be married, so they may not be typed couples or partners. Let us say they are partners
That's
this
still
time around.
courting.
They are courting and hoping that it will end in
Marriage.
marriage. Or is it advisable for them to have a joint business, not to talk of joint accounts?
Well, those in relationship who believe and trust in God that such relationship will end in marriage. If they have the same mind that the relationship will end in marriage and they believe that God, their creator, will help them to end well as couple. If they have a common business, there's nothing bad in that. Since they have the same mind, the same mind they're having will help them to move on such business.
I have an example of someone that finally eventually got married. Even the wife wanted a lavish wedding, and the brother went out of his way even to get a loan of around maybe 10-20 million naira to make the wedding lavish. But eventually, 3 months after, they parted ways. And even 4 years after the marriage, the marriage of just 3 months, the man is still paying a debt into 4 years after they had actually parted ways. Now, when we look at this, and sometimes people consider that the long and short of it, that should we put our businesses together eventually, that
What if it doesn't work out?
if it doesn't work out, sometimes when we look at the pros, we look at the cons as well.
Exactly. Well, I said if they have the same mind, uh, there is something every individual must understand as regards relationship. No one should enter into a relationship with a mind of, well, if it works.
Mm.
It's wrong. It's a wrong notion. It's a wrong notion. Because God, who instituted marriage, has a purpose for that. So it is God's purpose that we must have in mind. Well, if it works, if it doesn't, I back out. No, no, no. So for such a man who went ahead taking loan for marriage is very bad and very wrong. It's very wrong. Why do you take for marriage? Use the available resources for marriage. Then with time, you build up the home, you get better in marriage. If the couple have the same mind, I said that
The same mind.
So going ahead borrowing money for marriage is not good. It's not good.
It's not advisable.
Like
It's
you're
not,
about to
it's
say your
not.
quote, boy, I know what
Exactly.
Well, some people will always say that this event is once in a lifetime, that it is not meant to be done 2 times. You understand? So now we celebrate it, we make it memorable. And sometimes when we take an event, when you're smiling, the smile will always be there. When you are just like, you're not smiling, it will show. So some people will say that let us spend the available resources that we have with us, even if we can just get from outside, in order to make this day memorable because it is once in a lifetime.
Really, marriage is once in a lifetime. At the same time, it is not advisable to go and take loan or whatever for marriage.
Not
It is
advisable.
very bad.
Instead
Because
of
someone who borrows here and there for marriage. So that simply means the home is already built on debt. And the home, the marriage will continue on debt for as long as they don't even think. So it's better one manages the resources around for marriage. And the grace of God, I've seen people who got married with nothing, but the little available resources around them, they got married. I've seen people who got married, their church service early in the morning is maybe between 8 and 9 a.m. with few people, few family members, no reception, nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
And within few years of marriage,
It's boomed.
yes. So it's not advisable to take loan for marriage. It's very bad.
All right, man. Now there are some women, like career women who, of course, are working, they are making money, and then they feel that since I'm married, my husband should take all the responsibility. I don't need to drop any money. I don't need to support my husband in any way. My money is money, and his money is
It's
our
our
money.
money.
So, what do you want to say about this kinds of women?
Those women, they are not doing the right thing. The idea of my money is my money, his money is our money is wrong. It's not biblical. It's not. In marriage, as children of God, it should be my money is his money. His money is my money. So there shouldn't be any separation in marriage. If really one wants to get married to a partner, you should be ready to do things in unity.
Now, BJ has actually asked our own question from the feminine perspective. Now, let us also take a look at it from the masculine perspective. Now, let's talk about men who feel that the financial responsibilities on the home front should be shared equally, 50-50. Is it right? Looking at the economy of the country right now, you understand? So, some men will always say, we are helpmates. Let us
So
do
we
it
should do it
50-50.
together.
Is it actually right?
It's not. It's not. Because the Bible makes us understand that women are helpmates. That means we are to complement the husband, the men. So men shouldn't have that in mind. 50-50. No. Men who are practicing that are not responsible, so to say.
So sometimes we always say, in our Nigerian parlance now, we say 50-50, no shitting. You understand? But let us now take a look at a situation where the woman is the breadwinner of the family. You understand? And looking at the economic situation in town, is it still advisable that the woman should bear all the financial responsibility at home? Or what should be the role of the man in that kind of situation whereby the wife earns much more home at the end of the month?
Well, there are situations like that. Women earn more than what the man earns.
Hence,
I think there's nothing bad in that. The only thing is the husband and the wife should have a kind of understanding. But the fact that the wife is earning more than the husband shouldn't make the man to relax. If at all the woman is earning more than the husband, and at that time the man doesn't have enough, there should be a kind of understanding between the couples. That well, and doesn't have now, the woman will do so many things. But the moment the man is able to afford certain things, the man shouldn't rely on the woman that after all she's earning more than I do. No, no, no.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Now, before we pick calls,
okay, let's go to the phone
right.
lines this morning.
Okay.
While you do the next question, let's open the phone lines 0803 437 9453 and 0815 032 0226. This is OGBC 9.5 FM. Our guest is a marriage counselor, Mrs. Grace Olubumi Okunola. 0803 437 9453 and 0815 032 0226. Do you have any question for our guest this lovely morning? you want to corroborate any of the points raised this morning, please feel free to call 003-437-9453.
Ma, we needed to advise some women who are not ready to support their husband in any way, especially financially, in the marriage. Let's quickly pick this call.
Before you give the advice, hello, good morning.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
sir. Thank you for joining us.
Let me ask that counselor.
Okay.
Understand me? What the problem of the athletics of God? What are the principal line up the objectives of God to anybody who wants to marry, whether you are a man or woman? How do you see that one in relation with your
Can you
counseling?
can you repeat what
Can
you
you
said?
repeat? We can't draw the question very well.
As a counselor,
Yes.
what did you feel about the lying down principle of marriage from Almighty God? How
Okay.
does He ask you to marry? What line does He ask you to follow before marriage?
Okay.
Who is to marry?
Thank you.
Whether you're a man or woman.
Thank you very much. It was actually talking about what are the factors to be considered, what should be looked into, what are those things that one should consider before going into a marriage.
God's factor.
Maybe you just hold on. There is another question. Maybe you just note that down. Then there is another caller on the line. Hello, good
Hello.
morning.
Yeah, present man to all of you there.
Thank you
Good
sincerely
morning,
for
sir.
joining us. Good morning.
Yeah, this is another time. My brother may look funny, but I want to know from you, madam. Can you bring, does it bring couples family and the husband and wife? To be, let me put it this way. When a man wants to have sexual something with his wife, and the wife keeps saying all the time, I'm tired today for this, I'm tired. Can you break the relationship? Why not from you, madam? This is all that I will.
Okay.
Trying to hear from you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. He's talking about some normal cooperation between the couples that when the wives keep nagging, I'm tired, can this actually cause a gap in the marriage or a separation or some lapses in the marriage? Answer the first one, they will do the second one.
The first question, I believe God's factor is the best. And what is this God's factor? Praying to God, waiting patiently upon God, asking God in prayer, seeking the face of God to know who to marry. Is God's factor. Let God direct you on whom to marry. If God's factor prevails before one gets married, the marriage will go on well.
Well, we look at some people that some people do make this kind of skepticism, choosing not to marry and this and that. Some people will just argue that some people even who married within the premises of the
Their
places
religion.
of worship.
Eventually,
Eventually, maybe 2-3 months, less than a year, the marriage sometimes, not all, anyways, some, eventually they will say that this is who I saw in my dream, this and that, and even less than a year, they part ways. And we see some people that they just met in the club within 3-6 months, they got married and they're still feeling good. You understand? Some people will now say that what is the factor this time around that I actually wanted this guy and I went for him, he came for me and we got married and here we are, we're still feeling good. While some people will say that when we are considering this factor, waiting and all sorts, and eventually within 3 months, 6 months, they part their ways. What have you to say about this?
Well, I still maintain what I've just said, that God's factor is the best. You are right with what you've just said. But one thing is very certain. An individual relationship with God, differs. The way each of us relates with God. If you say you are a child of God, you believe in Him, you trust Him for everything. You know the way you relate with God. So if somebody else is saying what you are saying, that I'm also a child of God, I pray, I do this, I do that. When we try to dig deep, we have different levels at which we relate with God. So our relationship with God determines the way we will receive from Him. So I still maintain the fact that God's factor is
very
the most important in marriage. Let God direct you.
I'll quickly let us do the second question now. Now, what do you do to when your spouse does not fulfill his or her marital obligations as regards intimacy? Because let us not make it one-sided. There are some women as well that would also need the attention of their men in the other room, and as well as the women. So, what have you to say about it in terms of fulfilling their intimacy responsibility?
On this, I believe if the wife is complaining, it shouldn't be every time. I'm tired, I'm tired. Not every time and not every day. So if that persists, that every time, every day the wife is complaining, I think the husband and the wife should have time to talk together. They should talk it out. They should have a very good discussion to know the cause of tiredness at all time. And if it's a husband as well, there should be mutual discussion between the couples so that they will sort it out.
Okay, we have a text message here.
Okay, there's a message here that says young people of nowadays seems not to have passion for the family values, which has really made them to think they want to build empires instead of the family. And that's a message from Sheku.
You know, in terms of building families and empires, what should be the priority of intending couples?
Well, the intending couples should have that in mind. You know, I said at that time that no one should go into marriage with a notion that, well, if it works, if it doesn't, I back out. I think some young ladies and young boys or men are having that in mind as a result of which their marriages don't work. So no one should have that in mind. The moment you decide to get married, let this be in your mind. I'm getting married to, and the marriage will work. And you should try to do all you can to ensure the marriage works. Because the notion with which one enters into marriage matters.
A lot.
It matters. It matters a lot.
Now, as a marriage counselor, how can couples resolve conflicts arising from financial issues so that such does not degenerate or even escalate? But we will do that after this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
sir.
comrade.
Good morning, Tope. How are you?
Very fine, sir. Thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you. Thank you very much. Our resource person, man. Good morning, man.
Good morning, sir. God bless you, sir.
Amen. And that is the key issue. Now, is it possible? Because most of the things you have told us this morning, madam, is based on religion based. Marriage, according to you, madam, please pardon me if I'm wrong. Marriage is religion based. But is it possible for couples to live without religion? One, two.
morning.
Good
Thank you,
morning.
Sister,
Thank you
for
so
joining
much for
us.
calling.
Well, the issue of religion or no religion, I said God's factor is the best in marriage. Ah, if a particular person intends to get married, and the person knows the way he or she relates with God, and he or she has prayed to God, God has given him or her certain things concerning the marriage. By the time such people meet with the marriage committee, God has given them some direction, and the committee is trying to lead. I think they should discern. They should know if God has told you something and you meet someone and the person is telling you something different from what God has told you. I believe you should know that.
And so, what should they do? Because some of them, if they don't do what the committee has said, they might end up not getting married in that particular church.
Well, you are right. You are right. But what I will still say on that is they should go back to God in prayer. God is the creator of all men. We are all created by God. So, if God told them something and the committee is leading them astray, let them go back to God in prayer. Let them go back to God in prayer.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning once again.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm Prince Suleiman Hassan. Yes, somebody come that said you base your comment on marriage principles on religion. No. Everybody is created by Almighty Allah. On how the way we live our life, He has underlined it for us. He has instructed us the way we should live our life for our own
Okay,
benefit.
do you have any questions, sir, apart from that, sir?
You understand me? God, when you want to marry, God says two of you must have just at hand. They have capability and ability as man and woman. Then you understand yourself along the way you have. If you love music or dancing, you marry somebody who loves and dancing like you. If you are one religion, God's religion, not talking about other religion, God's religion, you follow what it says in your holy book before you marry.
Okay.
It does not say you should be poor, you be rich. There's nobody who has no money. Everybody has money. You don't have money, you cannot fit. Woman cannot see you and bless you. You cannot even get married. Or that's what let us keep that on apart. Follow the way of God. If you follow it, that will not in your perspective or belief. No, you will be able to do this. Unity will come into your mind.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
As an instinct. And that's just it. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much.
Now, I was asking earlier that can couples live without religion?
Yeah, let me just add to that
Yes.
about I know of a person in Abeokuta here. They've been married for over 60 years. The wife is an evangelist. The husband is a Alhaji. So can people with different religions cohabit?
Well, there are couples like that. You are very right. You are very right. I think I've said understanding
Yeah.
is important in marriage. Unity is important in marriage. So I need the man and the woman understand each other. They'll be able to run their home smoothly.
And because there are some that, of course, most marriages of different religions, some are successful while some are not. Because some will say, okay, this is my religion, this is your religion. And then after marriage, the man might just say, well, I'm the head of the home, you must do my religion. What do you have to say about this?
Well, in such a situation, if after they have married, the man insists that the woman should go by his own religion, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh. In such a situation, the woman has to go in line with the husband. She should know how to manage herself with the husband, because already she has got married.
So
If it were
that's
to
not
be
first.
those who are yet to get married, the lady may decide to back out. But the moment the woman has found herself in such a situation, she should know how to live with the husband.
Now, quickly, let us go back to the area of financial issues and couples resolve their conflicts without even allowing it to get to the third party.
Well, on that issue of finances in marriage, the couples must have time discussion, and the discussion with understanding. With understanding. Maybe they will have some legal rules or principles or whatever. You know, one must not make comparison. You mustn't compare another family with your own. So let the couple sit together, discuss together, understand each other on their finances, on how they want to rule the home. So what they need is understanding, mutual understanding on that.
Mutual understanding.
Yes.
Then, how can women break barriers of unemployment by being self-employed and thereby helping to support their partners?
Yes, on that, by being flexible. I mean, the wife shouldn't stay on the fact that
Sorry to both. Hello, good morning. Please quickly.
Yes, quickly, sir. Yeah, I know from madam. We are talking about unity and love in the couple. God is good. But is it possible for a joint account, a financial joint account, say that? Because woman used to say, Peter did that, my money is my money. Our money is our money is our money. But my own personal money is my money.
But she has already talked about it. Yeah, she has talked about it earlier. All right.
well, on the issue of joint accounts, there's one thing we must all understand. When we talk of joint accounts, it's not only when the couples go to the bank and say we want to open an account in our names. It's not only when we do that we run joint accounts. That's what we must all understand. The point is this: a particular couple will be running joint account even without putting their money to a single bank account. What I mean is this: as couples, you have responsibilities you must take.
Yes.
At a particular time, you have a particular thing you want to do as a couple. You talk it together. You want to do this. It will cost us a certain amount. So, as a husband, I have this to put down for the project or whatever. As a wife, this is my contribution towards such. Are we not running joint accounts like that? It's not only when we go to bank and put money in the same bank account, but when we have the understanding as a couple and want to do a particular thing, we do it together. Not that the husband is the only one doing it and the wife is watching, no. Or the wife is the one taking all the responsibilities while the husband is not doing anything. No, no. But when we are in agreement to do one thing or the other and we contribute our quotas, we are running a joint.
Now, before we go this morning, what advice do you have for couples and those still dating and attaining financial independence?
Well, my advice to couples or those in relationship who are yet to get married is that there's need for resourcefulness, just like what we are discussing this morning. We must not go into marriage, particularly ladies, must not get married without being engaged in one work or the other. Ladies must not be idle. Don't go into marriage with the notion that, well, after marriage, my husband will get me a job. No. Get something done before you enter into marriage. Get something done so that you don't lose value in life. Even as couples, married wife, get something done. If you rely solely on the husband, you are not doing anything, you will lose value. You don't have any value, even before your children. So my advice is every woman, every lady should get something done.
Thank you so much, man. Just as Mom has said, that you should find something doing, because if you're idle, uh, it will not end well. So thank you so much, a marriage counselor, Mrs. Grace Oluwabumi Okunlola. Thank you so much for coming, man, for doing justice to all that we talked about this morning. We want to appreciate you once again.
Thank you very much for your time on the program. Okay, this is how far we're able to go on this Friday's edition of Morning Flight on your dining station, OJS 90.5 FM. Special from the newsroom, we have Idris Adelakun as well as Akim Sulaiman.
Yes, the ICT guy is with Daniel Okechukwu, the sound manager. Yeah, Miss Repetition.
Most definitely. And the big woman behind the show this lovely morning is
Kemi
Kemi
Shofolawe
Shofolawe
Chukwu.
Chiko KSC. Thank you very much. My name is Temitope Babalola. Please do have a beautiful weekend. We love and appreciate you.
And I'm Bolaji. Have a lovely weekend.